to our lab guide for installing Kali Linux and Metasploitable on our ARM-based Mac using the virtualization tool, UTM. We'll be installing Windows 10 as well, Windows 11, and also Ubuntu later on as well as part of this series. But the first steps is that we have to get UTM first, and then we'll install Kali Linux and Metasploitable. These ones are really important because we're going to be using these labs straight away. But for completeness of the whole labs and to complement what you're learning already, we'll be getting Windows 11 and also Ubuntu to make this lab just really awesome. Just also wanted to mention that this lab is a lot of fun. We've spent an enormous amount of time getting this lab ready for you. I genuinely believe that we're probably the only place where we encourage Mac OS with an M series chip so that you can use your excellent, amazing Mac OS operating system and devices that you have. None better. The virtualization is really challenging and difficult on a Mac, but we found a way, and I think that you'll really appreciate this. So countless of hours and research has gone into this lab setup. I can't wait to show you. So I'm just going to bring up the slideshow. Let's get into this. So I'll go through a slideshow, talk to you a bit about what we're doing, and then we're going to go straight into the lab. The lab will be broken up into a series of episodes so that we can do this step by step and slowly and take the pressure off you. So like each video will be about like 10-15 minutes in little nuggets, I guess you could call it. But I want to explain what's going on as well. And so not just a step by step, but actually explaining what's happening as well. We do have written guides that you can follow along as well. You can print them, put them in a PDF, or have them on another screen or whatever you like. Put them on an iPad as you're doing this lab. I'm just letting you know that the lab setup using UTM for the Mac OS, it's going to be fun, okay? That's the word I'm going to use for it. I like to use positive and reinforcing a positive reinforcement, but let's be honest, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be tough, and things will happen where we'll have to do some troubleshooting. But we are here as instructors. We have amazing instructors out there, and at the very least you can contact me directly and I'll be able to assist you because I've had so much experience setting this up over the last few months. A lot of feedback from other students. Let's just get into this, right? So we're going to set up Kali Linux Metasploitable using UTM. So why UTM? UTM, you might have heard of things like VirtualBox or VMware, even Parallels if you're a Mac user. So why do we use UTM? First of all, it supports ARM and x86 virtualization on Apple Silicon. So when Apple brought out the Apple Silicon, which is using ARM-based architecture, ARM-based architecture is different than the Intel or AMD-based architecture. They're smaller, they're more energy efficient, the heat is less, so they can fit into smaller devices, and they don't need fans inside. So if you've got an iPad Pro, one of the latest versions of the iPads or an M series, bring the laptop and listen to it. You won't hear anything. There's no fan in it. They're very efficient, very quiet, and they've done such a great job that they're as almost, probably in some cases even better than the Intel based. They've got fans on top of it, and they've got 20 cores, and they've got all these super speeds. These M series chips on the MacBooks and on the Mac operating system, Mac devices are just phenomenal, amazing. But there is a little problem for us as cybersecurity experts. When we want to build a lab, when we want to use tools to do pen testing or do some other cybersecurity activities, the problem is that the developers of the virtualization haven't figured a way of us being able to use virtual machines like Kali, like Metasploitable, like Windows 11, 10, Windows Server and to run it natively on ARM-based architecture. And that's a massive problem for us because we need those to be able to practice. And it is a great idea to build a pen testing machine, and you wouldn't use just your Mac operating system. We need Linux. We need some Linux tools. So as good as the Macs are, building a lab is going to be enormously challenging. So we've chosen UTM. First of all, it's free. You can use it. It enables emulation. So if a virtual machine is not built for an ARM-based architecture, we can do some emulation. It's not ideal, but it would work. So we will have Kali Linux, we'll have Ubuntu, we'll have Windows 11, which will run on ARM architecture natively, but Metasploitable won't. Metasploitable is that virtual machine, it's a Linux-based machine that is vulnerable on purpose so that we can test it and practice our skills, but we need an emulation for that. And that's going to be fun. We're going to use the words fun. So UTM is the perfect tool for that. VirtualBox does not work on Mac OS anymore on the M series. It was great for the Intel-based Mac OSs. VMware is really good, and it does work on the M series, but it doesn't. It only works with the virtual machines that have native that can run natively on ARM-based. Metasploitable will not work on VMware. And Metasploitable is a crucial part of our lab setup because we need a vulnerable machine so that we can test our skills on. Metasploitable is perfect, but only works on UTM at the moment. Perfect. So here are the challenges. ARM architecture requires extra steps. So we built a series of labs and a series of step-by-step guides. There's going to be 5 or 6 steps, and it'll take you a couple of hours to get through this. Stick with it, okay? We've got instructor video walkthroughs, which is what I'm going to do with you today. We've written step-by-step written guides, and I've got some troubleshooting tips at the end. To make this work on your devices, you need a minimum of 8 gig RAM, which is the minimum that M series chips have anyway. But if you haven't bought your machine yet, and if you can afford a little bit more, there's buy a 16 gig a device with 16 gigs of RAM. You will not regret spending that extra money. In actual fact, they have a new Mac Mini. If you can get a student discount, it's like $850. Just hook it up to a monitor and a wireless keyboard or mouse. And that's perfect. That's 16 gigs. Wow, that's cool. If you're looking for a second-hand MacBook of some type, see if you can get a 16 gig. You will not regret it. It'll be a great decision. It will cost a bit more though, but do your best. The machine that I'm using now for this lab is an 8 gig RAM, and I've chosen this device so that I can show that this lab can work on a device with 8 gig of RAM. But the problem is I have to turn the virtual machines off all the time if I want to use another one. So I need to manage the resources a lot more carefully. So that's the next advice. So when you finish your VM, turn it off. Okay, so you can release the resources so we can use other machines. You will need admin privileges on your MacBook or your Mac operating system. There's a couple of activities part of the lab which will use a sudo command. So you'll need to have admin rights. If you've just got a standard user for your Mac OS, this lab's not going to work. You'll need administrative privileges. So if you're using a friends or relatives, you'll need to get them to make you admin, and users just not enough in this lab. Some of these, so we've got here written as prerequisites in the video and also the lab guide, the written lab guide. Yes, they are prerequisites. We're going to get those prerequisites together. We're going to install and build these. So you might not have them yet. Perfect. We're going to get them and install them. But the lab needs everything here. Okay. If you might have some of these already, perfect. If not, I'm going to show you how to do this. And this is why we're doing it step by step. And this is why it's going to take a very long time. Well, not a very, but it will take around about 2 hours to set this lab up. If you had a Windows 10 or 11 device, the whole lab setup will be like very quick, 20, 30 minutes, maybe exaggerating a bit there. But to make this work on a Mac ARM based, we need some steps. We need to go through a few things to get this happening. So now what I'd like you to do after you finish watching this video, go and grab your written resources and we'll give those to you. Your instructor will have those ready for you. Go through the written, skim through the written step-by-steps. Don't read them all if you don't have time. Skim through them. It's an excellent strategy that I use if I'm trying to get through a lot of material. It's big textbooks, 1,000 pages. I will go through the index and I'll skim through the chapters. And I'll spend about an hour doing that. And then the reason I do that is that when I go and read the chapter by chapters, when I go into the in-depth reading, I get this familiarization. I feel familiar with this. I think, well, yeah, I know this from somewhere, don't I? Because I've skimmed through it, and you'll be surprised how much information you can get by skimming through it. And plus, you'll get to see what's happening. You get like a bit of an overview. That mile-high view, the eagle's view of the world. Yep. So they're the resources we'll need. Don't worry. We're going to go through this. We're going to install UTM first in the next episode. We're going to go and grab the operating systems. They'll be ISO files most of the times. We need to install Xcode, Homebrew, and QEMU. I think that's how you pronounce it, to get our virtualization running. It's a bit of a weird kind of thing that we have to do. We don't have to do anything like that in Windows 10 or 11, but we need to get these labs working, and there's a few things we need to go into the terminal editor. So don't be afraid. I'm here with you every step of the way. I'm not expecting you to just go and install these. We're going to do this, all of it together. We've spent so much time getting this lab perfected, so you will have this done. Then we'll set up the virtual machines, and then we're going to configure the networking so that they can network each other. We'll test it, and very important, I know it sounds a bit weird, but we're going to power it off. Powering it off, there's a unique way to do it on Metasploitable especially. And I'm going to show you, because it's important to power off instead of just turning the virtual machine off. It's called a graceful shutdown. We'll go through a troubleshooting section. So I'm not just because you can't get this done, something happened, we're not just going to leave you. We'll give you some advice on troubleshooting so that you can go out and find out for yourself how to troubleshoot these issues. If you followed along and you've looked at the written instructions and it's just not working for you, we've got some tips to help you with troubleshooting. And then if you really can't get this working, that's why we're here to help. We're here to help you, and we'll get that additional assistance for you. All right, let's get into this. Hang on, my keyboard's done. There we go. Weird. All right. So let's jump into this, shall we? Perfect. So now we'll need additional steps than the usual virtual lab setup. The first thing we need virtualization software. So for those who are not sure what that means, what we need is a way for the operating systems that we're going to use to access our hardware. The way we're going to set up, we're going to use a type 2 hypervisor, and that means that we're using our Mac OS as the software. We're using UTM on top of that, so our virtualized operating system gets to access the RAM and the CPU together. And that's what virtualization means in effect. We will build a series of virtualization tutorials so that you can get a bit more foundational knowledge, but reach out to us. We'll help you for further information. Let's go and get UTM. So there's a few ways of getting this, we can go into the App Store and we can go and grab one of these. It's going to be 1 second. Yeah, so then we'll go over to UTM, type UTM here, and hopefully that will bring it up. Now, I've shown you this for a reason, right? Because I don't want you to get confused. You can download it from here, but UTM Virtual Machines through the App Store says it's $15. Now, you've probably thought, well, hang on, Harry, you said this was free. And yes, it is free, but it says $15 here. What's going on? Well, if you download it through the App Store, you have to pay for it. What's the difference between the App Store and the other method, which I'm going to show you? The only difference is that gets automatically updated if you're using the App Store. That's it. So I'm not going to use this. I'm actually going to go and download it from the website. So let's jump over to the app. So I'm just going to just a simple Google search. The actual website, by the way. Let's do this. So it'll be mac.getutm.app. That's the actual website to download this operating system. Now it kind of looks like, it doesn't look as professional as say like VMware or Parallels, but did you see how much Parallels, how much it was to get Parallels? And it's even then it doesn't meet our needs. Let's just have a quick look. So if we do UTM here, oh, I've already got Parallels. I've bought this, and I think I paid $170 for this. There's an educational version of this. I think it's about $80, and it still doesn't meet the needs of what I want for this lab. Great software, amazing, works great with Windows 11 as the operating system. So this is like a diamond in the rough. It looks a bit rough, but it's full of features. Amazing. We're just going to go ahead and download this. So the download for all of this stuff, for all these, sometimes takes a while. It takes quite a bit of time sometimes. Well, this one didn't take that long. So a lot of the other things that I download, I will already have them on a portable USB drive. So on this one, so I've already got one on it already. So that's why I take mine's a bit quicker. But it might take about an hour downloading some of the software. So that's on top of the 2 hours I've got you to allocate to set this lab up. So the lab might take a bit longer than those 2 hours, but it's just waiting for the downloads to come down. And it depends on your systems that you have and your internet connection. But, so we've got the download, utm.dmg. Double click that. It doesn't matter if it's an Intel based or an M series chip. And then just drag that over to applications. I'm waiting for it. Here we go. That's the noise I'm waiting for, the doing. Double click applications and scroll down until we get to UTM. It's that easy. It's really, Macs are amazing how easy they are to install applications, because Windows is a pain in the neck. Yes, I did download from the internet. I'm happy. I didn't pay for anything. No need to pay for this. So continue, and that's done. To update it, you go to, I believe, settings, which is up there. I'm actually not sure how to update this. That's a good, I haven't looked into that actually. Yeah, but we'll have to find out. Maybe we just have to go into trial and error, find out server settings. Yeah, good question. We'll have to find out about that and get back to you. Ask your instructor, and I'll have that ready in the lab guides. But if I pay the $15 to the App Store, it will automatically do the updates as well. But you can use that across your, if you pay for it for $15, that will be used across your Mac devices. So, but I don't know. It might be worth it if you want to buy it. I didn't personally buy this. Because I pay for too much for stuff. It's good to have free things from now and then. But that is, I believe that is it. You might get some issues where there's some security or you need some permissions. Depends on how you set up your virtual machine. Like I didn't encounter those problems, but I had feedback from other students that they had some problems. So I investigated and looked into this because we've been running for quite a long time and we've got a lot of feedback. So we'll go into Finder, or go down here to Settings, and we'll go to Security and Privacy. Where are you, Security and Privacy? Somewhere. There we go. Privacy and Security. And we'll go to General. Problem, Mac is always up, changing how this looks. So Privacy. General. We're looking for General. Where are you? I wouldn't be surprised. If they've changed in the recent, because I've just updated this to the new software. I believe that. So if macOS displays a security prompt stating the app is from an unidentified developer, then you need to go to System Preferences, which were here, Security and Privacy, and General. Got to find General somewhere. Well, it's not there, but you can go to Security here and allow applications from, you can do App Store and known developers. I think you can go to Advanced as well. No. Well, it's different on the new operating system. Apologies for that. I ran the lab before I updated, so the new update took that away. But never mind. We're up and running now. So if you have any issues, reach out to us, but you should be okay from this stage. So that will be it for this first episode. In the next episode, we're going to start downloading the infrastructure that we need, the operating systems and the things to get this lab up and running. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.